I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
And what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
We have Muchacho.
Muchacho.
Brewed and canned by Good People Brewing Company in Birmingham, Alabama. 4.8% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. I'm sorry if my accent isn't going to be great, but just don't.
Are you sure?
Don't call me racist. I'm sorry.
Please don't do an accent.
I'm not going to try, but it might happen.
Mitchell.
Here's what's on the can, okay? Let's just do this. ¿Qué pasa, muchacho? Only the easiest drinking Mexican-style lager north of south of the border. Crisp, clear, and tasty, this good hombre is muy bueno for chilling at cookouts, ball games, or your next fiesta. See, I don't know if I can be blamed for that. There's a little bit of...
Super Duper White wrote that, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a little bit of cultural appropriation on the can there.
A little bit.
All right,
people,
well...
I don't know about that.
This is probably the best Mexican-style beer I've had. I really like this beer. And Mexican-style beers are not really my thing. I like them all right, but... You know.
I don't like Mexican-style beers, and it's drinkable for me, so that's saying something.
It's really, really smooth. There are no bad flavors. Like the can section said, it would be excellent to have on a hot day sitting outside doing something. Maybe running around outside. Maybe not running around. Let's calm down. But
running and beer doesn't sound good together.
Sitting on the beach or something. This beer is excellent. Only because I don't like Mexican-style beers, it's not perfect. It gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Now, onto our liquor. We are drinking Deep Eddy Peach, bottled for Deep Eddy Distilling Company in Austin, Texas. 35% ABV. That's alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Alright, I'm going to put another disclaimer here. This is really long, but I felt that it was warranted. So, here we go. Deep Eddy is the oldest spring-fed swimming pool in Texas and an iconic site in the heart of Austin. The cool, inviting water is a place where friends and family gather to swim, relax, soak up the sun, and enjoy life. If you're going to put an editor's note here, you could just say enjoy life and forget the rest of it. Anyway, good times and a commitment to the highest quality, that's what Deep Eddy Vodka is all about. Paragraph 2. Our peach-flavored vodka is made from real peach juice and mixed with our award-winning vodka, 10 times distilled and naturally gluten-free. We distill our vodka in a state-of-the-art column still, and we use the finest water in Texas. Taste the difference for yourself.
No, it's not pool water, is it?
I hope it's not that pool water. But it's spring-fed, so, I mean, it's still natural. It's fine.
It's natural spring water, but... So Deep Eddy is named after a swimming pool?
It seems to be a swimming hole, I would guess.
Swimming
pool,
but
it says swimming pool, so...
Alright.
Well...
Did not know that. Good to know.
As far as I know, we both really, really, really like this vodka.
It's so good.
It is very good. Excellent flavor. There's almost a non-existent vodka bite. It's incredibly smooth.
You can feel it in your nose, though.
Yeah, a little bit. It's such a good peach-flavored vodka.
And, like, it's not an artificial flavor. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's made with peach
most
juice.
Most of, like, the Pinnacle stuff that most people in the Smirnoff flavored and all of that stuff, they taste good, but it tastes like a candy flavoring, like an artificial flavor. That stuff tastes like you're biting into a peach, and it's absolutely delicious. I would 100% recommend it. I think it comes in several other flavors, and we're probably going to try those too.
We will. Now, this does say real peach, so when I just said made with real peach juice, I could be wrong, because all that it says is real peach, so that could be anything. Let's just put that in there. Who knows?
I don't care what's in it. I'm just saying it tastes
really good, though.
Like a natural flavored peach and not a peach candy, and I like
really,
that.
Really good. We gave it a 9 out of 10 just on ice by itself. I do have a piece of advice with it, though. Let it sit for just a minute and get that ice a little bit melted. Water it down just a little bit, and then I think it's absolutely perfect. 9 out of 10 just on ice. 10 out of 10 in a vodka lemonade.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh God. There's a small recipe on the bottle for 4 ounces of lemonade, 1.5 ounces of the vodka, and just a spritz of seltzer water. Just top it with your, soda water. And it is so freaking good.
It's delicious. Would recommend.
It's so good. Perfect score, 10 out of 10. We also used Country Time lemonade. didn't use it as a specialty mixer, but it is from Texas.
It is from Texas.
So, country time going
by
with
Dr.
it.
Pepper, so.
So this vodka gets a 9.5 out of 10 overall, and that is all that we have for the alcohols. All right, what's next?
It's time for listener mail.
Listener mail.
All right. Hey, y'all. I just wanted to give a big shout out to some of the people who left reviews for us. We've got Angela, Erica, Luigi, and Leah this time. Thank you for those sweet, sweet reviews. And if you left me your address, I'm going to be sending stickers to you.
Good luck with those stickers.
We got a really nice Instagram message from a lady named Shannon. Thank you for that. It was awesome.
Hi, Shannon.
And then we also got live, physical, actual, in the P.O. Box mail this week.
Ooh.
What?
What was it?
It was our very first postcard. Someone actually legitimately sent us a postcard. It came from someone named Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
And she sent us a postcard of the Piezoelectric from Gaffney, South Carolina. And the Piezoelectric is a giant peach-shaped water tower, which maybe that's a thing down here because I've seen quite a few, but that one's fun.
There's one in Clanton, Alabama.
Yeah, maybe we should collect all the peach.
Yeah, everybody send us your peach postcards. We need all the big peaches.
You got a peach and you got a peach. And anyway.
Well, I'm telling you, we're going to get shut down at some point if you keep it up.
Sorry. But, yeah, she sent us this great postcard. I put up a picture of it on Instagram, and it's totally, I've got a bulletin board. We're going to put it up there. I'm very excited. But, yeah, Carolyn actually has an Instagram, and she is an artist. She's a ceramic artist, and
I didn't know
her
that.
stuff is freaking amazing. She does, like pottery and the normal ceramic stuff, but then she also does these ceramic carving disc things. I don't know how you would describe it because I've never seen anyone else do it, but y'all, when I'm telling you, these things are absolutely stunning. They kind of they remind me of maybe a woodcut or a lino cut print, but they're like done in ceramic and fired that way. They're just absolutely stunning. They're bold and the graphics are cool, and there's aliens on some of them, and there's real traditional stuff on other ones, and there's patterns, and it's absolutely brilliant. So if y'all want to look at that, which I highly recommend you do, go follow her on Instagram. Her name is C Ford Art, just spelled like it sounds, C Ford Art. Follow her. She's freaking fantastic, and she totally sent us a postcard, so I think she's the best. And that was our listener mail.
Listener mail. Well, that was fun. So, what about a funny place name this time?
I have one for you, and it is not from Kentucky.
Are we sure?
I'm positive.
Is it from Alabama?
It's not from Alabama.
Hey!
Or Georgia or Tennessee, or do you want to keep going?
Or Florida or Mississippi or South Carolina or Texas or North Carolina?
You're still, keep going.
Virginia, West
There
Virginia?
you go, Virginia.
Oh,
You hit it. Hey.
I was going to say, you're just fucking up because you're not even sticking to the South now.
No, it's Virginia.
Okay.
Today, we are going to Short Pump, Virginia.
Short pump?
Short Pump.
I like to give a nice long pump.
Gross.
Yeah, that's really gross.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I'm going to cut that.
All right, so this is actually a very ritzy, fancy suburb of Richmond.
Is
Where
it?
all the hoity-toity rich folk live.
With all the short pumps.
Yeah. So the spot got its name in 1853 from a short-handled pump that was under the porch of the town's tavern. And so they just decided to call it Short Pump because there was a short pump there.
What's a short pump again?
No, like, so like a water
it's
pump.
a short pump, but it's just a tiny water pump?
No, like it's the handle was short, so.
Oh, okay.
So it was a short pump.
So who could use it? Children?
No, anybody could use it. It's just like the longer the handle, the more water you can get at a time.
Oh, yeah, so they had to pump real fast.
I mean, no, not fast exactly, just you have to pump more to get the same amount of water. So, I mean, no running taps. It's a pump system, and a short-handled pump was probably kind of annoying. But, like, of all of the things to name your town after, like...
Yeah. Not the defunct pump.
Short pump. Damn it. Like, I mean, what if someone was like, go
ahead.
I'm trying to think of something about Hartselle that's stupid. There's too many things.
What? Yeah.
So, White Brick Civic Center, like, we're going to call it White Paint from now on. Like, what is that about?
We're going to call it Metal Yeti.
I love the Metal Yeti.
There is a Metal Yeti cutout. There are a couple of them, actually, in front of, like, stores and stuff.
Well, there's an artist, I think, around here that cuts them out of, like, old rusted metal, and there's a couple downtown. And then, have you seen the concrete Yeti that's down?
No.
Going out towards Falkville?
No.
Oh, it's glorious. It's like a 6-foot-tall, full-on poured concrete Yeti, and I want him real bad.
So we should be Metal Yeti or Concrete Yeti instead of Hartselle?
I mean...
Short pump?
I would 100% live in Metal Yeti, but that's just me.
Rolls off the tongue.
I don't know that the people on What's Happening in Hartselle would be thrilled with that decision.
What's happening in Metal Yeti? You're getting it wrong.
You're right. So, yeah, I am going to go to the next town council meeting and just be like, look, y'all, you named it wrong. We're going to be Yettlemedi.
Yettlemedi. Even better. We will all speak Pig Latin.
Oh, bless. Anyway, but yeah, that's Short Pump, Virginia.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
What a strange, strange place.
Indeed. Well, I mean, I think it's just like real fancy folk now with nice like shopping centers and big fancy houses and shit. So, I mean, I'd live in Short Pump. I mean, I couldn't afford to live in Short Pump.
Yeah.
But I would.
We can't make it there. We could try.
Probably not.
You don't want to?
Nah.
All right, fine. I don't even want to go. How about that?
Fine.
All right, do we have a story ready?
Yeah, we sure do.
Let's go
We've
to
got
story
2 of them,
one.
in fact.
No, not 2. We never do 2.
Surprise!
Thank you.
Sorry. All right, so today we're going to be going back to Arkansas.
Yay! Excuse me.
We're going to Gurdon, Arkansas, specifically. Gurdon.
Gurdon.
And we're going to be talking about the Gurdon Ghost Light. Ghost Light.
It's a ghost light?
Uh-huh. Spooky.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to say spooky. It's a ghost light.
No, that's sort of a joke from the Broadway recording, the original cast recording of title of show. It's like the bonus track. Nobody's gonna get it but me.
No,
I'm sorry.
nobody gets
You should
it.
probably cut this out.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, okay. So most people describe this phenomenon as sort of a bluish, greenish, glowing ball of light. And
Gross.
it's sort of... Okay, so it sort of follows the path of this old railroad, but from what I've been reading, the railroad track was recently removed because it was no longer in use. So I don't think the railroad is actually there anymore, but from the time that it started and all of that, it was sort of following this railroad track. And Gurdon is in Clark County, Arkansas. Don't ask me whereabouts that is because I don't know.
Where's Clark County?
I said don't ask me.
Oh, that's
I don't
what you
know.
were saying. Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, this weird bluish greenish light that shows up, and sometimes it follows the tracks, sometimes it just stands there. It's weird. So my question to you for our shot in the dark is, according to local legend, what traumatic event caused the ghost light? So was it A, the murder of a railroad employee, B, the lynching of a man next to the railroad tracks, Or C, a jilted woman committing suicide on the tracks?
I think that the jilted woman is something you made up because of the word jilted.
Damn it.
So, I'm going with...
I knew I should... When I was writing this question, I fucking knew I shouldn't have said jilted because you were going to know.
I'm going with the lynched man.
You're wrong. Anyway.
Oh, it was the employee?
It was a murdered employee. Hold on. Let me get out my phone.
Here we go. Let's do a deep Eddy shot. I'm going to get up real deep into Eddy.
You've got to stop.
Well.
Oh no, extra chins. Seriously, don't ever open up your phone in selfie mode.
Just stop taking selfies. Alright? Alright, ready? Oh, that's pretty rough. Oh.
Was it really bad? I thought it was tasty.
No, it's not bad. It's just much more concentrated when you take a shot. So it's a whole lot stronger, you know.
Okay.
Pretty freaking tasty, though.
That's
and
good.
Wash it down with some lemonade. Heck yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So in December of 1931... Okay. Back up.
Okay.
Sidebar.
Backed up.
This is one of those things that there are like 400 different stories of what actually happened to the railroad dude, who killed who, what happened, blah-de-blah. But this particular case was on Unsolved Mysteries.
No, it wasn't.
And I remember seeing it.
No, it wasn't.
But it was.
I loved that show.
I know. I remember seeing it on Unsolved Mystery as a child because my mom used to let me watch that shit because she was probably not... Yeah.
Because she wanted you to not
Because she
sleep.
wanted to watch it, but like... She probably shouldn't have, but anyway.
Let's be honest. We'll do the same thing to any children we have.
Oh, 100%.
We're going to watch Black Mirror when they're 4.
Let it go. Whatever. Anyway, I have no long-lasting ill effects from it except for being weird, so there you go.
Oh, yeah. That's the Unsolved Mysteries caused this?
Well, Unsolved Mysteries, In Search of, etc. I was that kid, but anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the story that Unsolved Mysteries told, so I'm going to tell it that way. If someone else from that place wants to tell your version of the story, email it to me, and I will let everybody know what your version is. But
listener mail.
We're going to go with the Unsolved Mysteries version because it's the version that I grew up with.
Okay.
All right, so...
Did you watch an episode of Unsolved Mysteries to prepare for this?
No, I remember this one from when I was a little kid. But there is an Unsolved Mysteries wiki, and I got some of my notes from there because they detail every episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
For Unsolved Mysteries?
Is, and it is very good, and there's photos, and it's great. 100% would recommend. But anyway, back to the story. So in December of 1931, there was a railroad foreman dude. I don't really know the names of these things.
Interesting. Railroad foreman dude, I think is right.
He was like the head guy over the railroady stuff in that area. And his name was Will McLean. And he had this really shitty worker named Lewis McBride. And apparently McBride fucked up a section of the track. Not sure if it was on purpose or if it was accidental, but it caused a freight train to derail, which is a big ass problem.
Yeah.
So he fired him like he should have.
Right. He acted correctly.
Exactly.
The foreman dude.
So McBride was real fucking pissed that he didn't have a job anymore because, I mean, this is sort of Depression era.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the Great Depression.
Yeah, so, like, losing a job that paid like a railroad job was fucking a bad thing. So McBride got real mad, and he beat Mr. McLean, and then he killed him with a pickaxe. Because, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Pickaxe is particularly brutal.
Indeed. Lots of puncture wounds. Anyway.
Jesus.
Sorry. So Mr. McLean's body was later found by a search party looking for him along the side of the tracks where Mr. McBride had left him. And then once they had found the corpse, Mr. McBride confessed to the murder, and he was hanged for his crime. Now, not long after Mr. McLean was murdered, people began to see this sort of weird phenomenon, and they named it the Gurdon Lot.
Gurdon?
Gurdon. Gurdon.
I just like that.
It's a fun word to say, isn't it?
I like fun words.
Yeah. But it was this strange glowing light, and it sort of followed the railroad tracks, like I said before. And a lot of people believe that it is just the spirit of Mr. McLean, and he's haunting the tracks, and that they believe that the light itself is the light from his lantern that he carried, a railroad lantern that he carried when he was working on the tracks. So, like, the first sighting that anybody saw and reported of this light was from a conductor. The only name they give for him is just John. So Conductor John was driving a train through this area, and he saw a light on, like, the back platform of his train. And he watched the light follow his train for about a mile, and then it shot up into the air, and then it sort of floated into the area where the local cemetery was. So,
It was just seeing the train along.
Just chilling out, taking care of it, and then went back. So it's become sort of a tourist destination for weird people, like me.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't call other people weird, Leah.
No, they're my tribe, Mitchell. They're my people.
Are you the chief?
No. I'm like the accountant that can't count, but whatever.
What?
Of
the treasurer?
Tribe. Yeah, I'm the tribe treasurer.
The tribe treasurer. Y'all were broke.
Okay, so I'm a bad tribe treasurer, but y'all, anyway.
Don't make Leah treasurer or something.
I'm real bad at counting, y'all. But anyway, so shut up. But anyway, so it's become sort of like a tourist destination in the area. Now, it's a real small-ass town. It's only like 2,700 people. So, people sort of come into town looking for this thing. You can find coordinates for it on Google if you're really interested. Like I said, the train tracks are no longer there because they pulled them up a few years ago. But you can find the area, and there are videos on YouTube of the light. Now, they're taken at night, and it looks like a lot in the distance. You can't see anything because there's just a lot. No, it's moving. It is a well-documented phenomenon. I actually believe that this thing actually happens, but why does it happen is the question.
I don't believe it.
Like I said, all the eyewitnesses say that the light flashes slowly. It floats about, 1 or 2 feet off the air, a little bit higher up, and it sort of veers off, and it goes away, and it'll come back. It's just...
I just want to say something.
What?
I thought... I'm trying to YouTube it to see if I can see these videos. I thought that Gurdon was probably spelled Girden, but no, it's Gurdon, right? So I typed Girden, and the first thing that popped up was Gordon Ramsay. It was trying to autocorrect. It thought that I was typing with a southern speech impediment. Gordon Ramsay, please.
Gurdon!
I want to see a Gordon Ramsay video.
That Harold Skirchin.
It made me laugh really hard. Gordon Ramsay. Okay, I'm getting Ghostlight as being a band, and I don't like it whatsoever.
Sorry.
Anyway.
But yeah, so the ghost lights are well documented. There are videos, there's photos. I have no doubt that this actually happens, but is it a ghost or is there a natural phenomenon that explains it? And that's what we're about to go into talking about it.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so
Let's
what
talk about Gordon Ramsay.
No, Gordon Light. Alright, so there are several different theories about what it could be from natural causes. So one theory is that there are lights that may be coming from headlights off the interstate. Now, that has been the cause of a lot of lights that, the mystery lights that people have seen across the country. But this was reported and documented way before that particular interstate was put in. So most people think that's bullshit and that's not the cause of it. Now, there are also people that think that it's swamp gas, because if there's anything weird, there's any kind of like glow in anything, it's fucking swamp gas.
Yeah.
Now, I have never seen any pictures of real ass swamp gas.
Is that explanation coming from the government? Because they've been saying swamp gas for years.
100%. 100%.
Them and Gordon Ramsay. I think he's involved.
You've got to drop Mr. Ramsay from this.
Gordon's involved. He's tried to cover it up with his swamp gas.
So, swamp gas, according to the people that think it's swamp gas, say that it's caused by decomposing vegetation, which spontaneously combusts.
Yeah, makes sense.
But, like...
happens all the time.
It just doesn't... I'm going to go with no on that one.
I don't believe that either.
So... there are also eyewitnesses that refute that claim of swamp gas, because you can see the light when it's windy, and it would blow the gas away, so it can't be a swamp gas.
But it's also going to be quite a ways away from you at the same time, right? It might not be windy over there where the light is.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can get pretty close to it from what
the
eyewitnesses say. So anyway,
okay.
So people say that nope, couldn't be swamp gas. Well, there's another theory, and I think it's probably the most interesting, but I don't know if it's a thing or not. So the theory that I like the best is that it's caused by the piezoelectric effect.
What's that?
Hey, I'm glad you asked. Okay.
Wait, no, I take it back. I didn't ask. Move on. Story 2.
Be a dick about it.
Tell me what it is.
No, okay. So when you compress a material like quartz crystal under immense pressure, it emits an electric current, right? So that's what sort of quartz watches do.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay. So quartz is a good conductor of electricity and can produce an electric field if you compress it. That's basically what the piezoelectric effect is.
Okay.
Now, Gordon sits on top of a massive quartz crystal deposit.
I was about to ask about
and
that.
It also has a fault line. So the theory goes that there's a lot of pressure at that fault line on that quartz, and it causes sort of a piezoelectric effect in the atmosphere above it that sort of discharges the electricity in a sort of a ball shape.
Okay, then.
So that's a thing, maybe. And it's also supported, and it's also supported by the fact that around the time that the light was first seen was also the time of a major earthquake that occurred on that fault. So maybe a fault slippage caused it to put more pressure in certain areas that caused the light to appear.
Or release more gas.
Okay, maybe.
Right?
What? Maybe it's a swamp piezoelectric hootenanny. I don't know.
Hootenanny. I don't think it's a hootenanny. I think we have different definitions of a hootenanny.
Yeah. So yeah, or it could just be the fucking ghost of that dude that got pickaxed in the head.
It could be. I'll tell you this: the video that I'm watching, as long as it is, trustworthy. Ghost Light of Gordon caught on video is the name of it. It's about a 5-minute video. There's no way it's headlights because it's stationary. So
I've also seen some of them where it sort of drifts around a little bit.
It still wouldn't be headlights in that case.
And then I've also seen really shitty videos that were clearly taken on a cell phone from like 1998 or something. That
cell phones in '98 could not take video, Leah.
I'm sorry.
It was a camcorder with the VHS tape inside.
Probably,
on the dad's shoulder.
And like they're trying to... Anyway, it sort of looks like a dude out in the field sort of waving a flashlight around. Now, maybe there's someone there, maybe there's not. I don't know.
That sounds so shitty.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's on YouTube also, but
I didn't
anyway.
see that one.
At any rate, I personally believe that it is there. I believe it's a real observable phenomena, but I also believe it's probably not the ghost of that dude.
I might have to agree with you on that.
Oh, exciting. We agree on something.
I mean, I just don't believe in ghosts, first of all, so I don't think it's a ghost whatsoever.
I do, but I also don't believe they're as
thing.
widespread as people seem to like to think they are.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
I think it's some kind of weird natural... I think it's some kind of weird natural phenomenon that they can't explain.
As of yet.
But I also think that it is a natural, weird-ass phenomenon. And
Yes.
plus, if you're in the middle of tiny-ass Garden, Arkansas, and you're in the middle of, like, the woods and shit, it's gonna seem a lot creepier than it probably actually is because it's, like, dark, and there's this creepy glowing doohickey, and, you know. I can see where people would get ghost stories out of that.
Yeah. I just can't get over the fact that YouTube thought that I was typing with a southern accent.
Sorry.
Jordan.
We do share a Google account, so it's probably me.
No, I doubt I doubt that you're looking up Gordon Ramsay videos as Gordon Ramsay.
Probably not, but I'm also a really bad speller, so it probably thinks that you're just nuts. Whatever.
That was really funny to me.
Sorry. All right, well, you ready to move on to number 2?
I am.
All right, so we're going back to Tennessee.
Where in Tennessee?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis?
Memphis.
I like Memphis.
All right, we're talking about Georgia Tann tonight.
Georgia Tann?
Georgia Tann.
Is that George a Tann or Georgia Tann?
Georgia, like the state, a female lady name.
Okay.
Tann.
Don't assume the gender.
No, she's a lady.
Don't assume.
She's
And
a
Tann.
lady.
Tann?
And Tann.
Okay. I'll follow along.
You don't know who she is?
It's Georgia Tann.
Georgia Tann.
No, I have no idea who that is.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's learn. All right, so Georgia Tann was born Beulah George Tann because...
Oh, God.
Great. She was born to parents George Clark Tann and Beulah Isabella Yates Tann on July the 18th of 1891 in Hickory, Mississippi. Now, okay, these uncreative motherfucking parents, instead of calling her like a normal name, they go, "What's your first name? Beulah? Excellent. What's your first name? George? Awesome. You know what we're going to call her, baby? Beulah George."
So
Like,
the mother was Beulah, the dad was George?
yeah, and they named
Nice.
her Beulah George Tann. But she went by Georgia because she obviously didn't want to be called Beulah. And George is probably not a great name either, so
Yeah. I agree.
IDK. Anyway,
Well, it's like, as we've talked about before, George Foreman named all of his children George, including his daughters.
his daughters.
His daughters. From what I heard, there were like 15 children of George Foreman that have the first name George.
Hey.
And I don't think any of them are junior. I think they're just George
They're
Foreman.
all George Foreman.
I believe so.
I mean, at least you don't have to, like, do that oopsie-daisy thing that, like, sometimes my grandmother does and calls my brother my uncle's name.
You just say
or
George and
whatever.
everybody
Just,
comes running from the other
George,
room.
come here. You get, like, 20 people
Not
going,
you.
what?
Not you. And he doesn't dehumanize them by numbering them. So it's not like George number 4. No, because that's just another thing you got to remember. He'll just point.
I'm sure they all have nicknames, so it works out.
Yeah, they're all George. George. She goes by George.
Okay. Enough of that sidetrack. So, back to Georgia Tann. Mm-hmm. So, her father was a district court judge, and one of his responsibilities was dealing with, the cases of homeless children who had become wards of the state.
Judge in Mississippi? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And actually, one of Georgia's older brothers, excuse me, Rob, he was actually one of those children, and the family adopted him. Anyway.
Well.
So Georgia actually wanted to be a lawyer like her father, but Daddy Tann said that was far too masculine a job for for his daughter.
Women can't be doing that.
I know, right?
They gotta make meals, I guess. I don't know where I was going.
Yeah, thanks. Calm down with your misogyny over there. Anyway.
I'm doing a bit. Some massaging a bit.
Anyway, so she was forced instead to study music, and then later she went into social work. So she got a job at the Mississippi Children's Home. Oh, no, excuse me. The Mississippi Children's Home Finding Society in Jackson, Mississippi. That is a mouthful.
Yeah, that's too much.
And she began to get a taste of power by placing these poor children in adoptive homes without the full consent of both parents.
Oh.
So she
Nice.
would take these poor children and basically, you know, she sort of felt like she was elevating their status and putting them into rich families. But like I said, the poor families were not down with that.
Did she send any to Short Pump?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so the laws around, you know, child welfare weren't terribly strict at the time. And she started doing some real shady shit, maybe taking some bribes for being able to get children and that kind of thing. And eventually people caught on, and she was sued by at least one birth parent for the return of their child there in Mississippi. So she was rightly fired from the Mississippi Children's Home Finding Society.
Good.
So, yeah, good for them. They got rid of her. But her father was rich, and he had connections.
He was a judge.
Yeah, so she sort of had a weird side job in Texas that I'm not going to talk about. And then
Okay.
he set her
Was
up.
it a hooker?
No,
Was she a hooker?
She was not a hooker.
Okay.
Anyway, so he set her up in Memphis, Tennessee. And she became sort of the director of the Tennessee Children's Home Society in 1924. All right, so after she started there, Georgia set herself up as a kingpin of a child trafficking scheme.
Jesus.
In which she stole babies from low-income families and sold them to wealthy families for a profit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's one of those stories. So it's estimated that between
I thought Georgia was going to be the good guy.
She
Was going to
is
be like the
not.
ghost or something that was...
No. There's
her
no
throat was cut or
ghost.
something.
There's no ghost. There's no serial killing. It's just this bitch stealing a bunch of babies.
So uncomfortable.
Well, let me keep going.
Okay.
So it's estimated that between 1924 and 1950, which is when she was operating, that is so long.
Why?
It's like 26 years.
Why was she allowed to do this for 26
Well,
years?
we'll get to that.
Okay.
Now, Georgia stole and sold over 5,000 children.
Good God.
And actually, around 500 of those children were said to have died in her care from neglect and abuse.
How many?
At least 500.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
To just allow
To die.
to die.
Uh-huh. Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, if it's 2 or 3, we might give you a pass.
Mitchell!
Not 2 or 300. Calm down. 2 or 3 individual
Mitchell!
little babies.
Mitchell!
That's so awful.
You need to calm the fuck down.
Oh.
So, her targets were generally blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white babies. That was what
Jesus.
sold for the most money. So that's what she had her eyes
around
on.
that time, that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Building
mean,
up the Aryan race.
basically, yeah. So Georgia grew up very wealthy and privileged, and she pretty much believed that there were two kinds of people. There were rich people who were worthy of everything that they had, and they were always perfect parents, and they were wonderful, and they can provide for their children, and they were always just the best people, always. And then there were poor people who were the scum of the earth, and they were incapable of raising children, and they did not deserve their children. So she really had no qualms about just yanking these children out of their houses and selling them to rich families.
Jesus.
So one of the first ways that Georgia really started procuring children was directly from the hospital right after they were born. So
Okay.
yeah, the infant mortality rate was pretty high back then in that area. There were some disease outbreaks, like dysentery and that kind of thing, that killed a bunch of children.
Mumps? Were mumps one?
I have no idea.
Was
'Cause
mumps
I'm
one?
not sure what mumps is for real, but
Okay.
whatever. But
It's
at any
eradicated
rate,
now, so it doesn't matter.
well, for now. Sorry. But anyway, so with the help of these doctors and nurses that she had bribed, they would deliver a baby, pass it directly on to Tann, and then tell the parents that the child was stillborn, or that their infant, so like after they had had the baby for a couple days in the hospital, they'd ship it off to her, and they'd say it became sick and died from dysentery or whatever else.
Wow.
Yeah. Shitty ass motherfucking people. Alright, so she would also steal children from inmates in state prisons. So if they went in and they were pregnant and they had a child while they were imprisoned, she would basically just come and take them under her care, and she'd ship them off and sell them there. As well as women that gave birth in like psychiatric wards and that kind of thing, any kind of mental patient, she'd steal those babies. And then it even escalated to some of these children were abducted directly off the streets, and they were told that their parents had died, and they shipped them off to be sold to other families.
Like they came by in a van and grabbed the kids and said, like, your parents died, and moved on?
Well, like if they're playing out in a yard or whatever, they would approach the children, basically abduct them, say, you know, we're so-and-so from wherever, your mommy and daddy are gone, and all of that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, if you get them young enough, they don't really know the difference. Yeah. So, Tann was helped along by an insanely corrupt political system there in Memphis. It was headed by a dude named E.H. Crump, but they called him Boss Crump. He was the mayor occasionally, on and off. He was a leader in the well, like he was the mayor, and then he wasn't the mayor, and he was the mayor again.
And he would get elected again. And...
yeah. And he was also just a leader in the local politics of the time. And he and Tann just became friends, and she paid him off. And basically, he protected her from any of the investigations that would have gone on otherwise. So people were whispering, and there were complaints from families who'd lost children to this woman that had had their children seized by the courts with this woman. And he basically kept everything shut up because he could, and he was a fucking dick.
Yeah, I'd say he was.
The worst person in this, like this co-conspirator that makes me want to punch her in the fucking face, is a woman named Camille Kelly. So she was a juvenile court judge in the city, and she basically was in cahoots with Tann, and if there was any kind of like poor family that couldn't support their children, or if there was like I said, if there was any reason to bring, and even if there wasn't a reason, if they were just poor and the court said that you can't afford these children and you're not treating them the way they should be treated, she would sign the rights away and transfer them to Tann, and would completely clear the path for her to sell them for adoption. And she did that over and over and over and over again because she was a bitch.
It's okay. You can say the C word.
I'm not going to say it.
Respect.
But y'all, if there was ever a person that deserved that word, it is this.
You can just say it. I don't know why that's a fucking hot
I don't get it either,
because
I didn't even know that was a cuss word till I was in high school, because I had never heard it.
Well, it's not a cuss word. It's a female anatomy slang from England.
Whatever. It makes me mad, and I do not like this woman, and she makes me stabby. But anyway.
Pin stabby?
But like, these people were so heinous about their just blatant disregard for these children. Like, they put these advertisements in the paper for like adopting a child, and like around Christmas time they'd put in these papers these ads, give your spouse a child. No, really, it was like, I don't like remember the exact. Like you open a box expecting a puppy and there's just a newborn. Gross. No, like there were these like cartoony little ads in the newspaper that said, you know, give them something to the effect like, give them a living present this year, something like that. Yeah, I know. Fucking just, terrible fucking people. They just absolutely did not value these children as anything other than little cash cows, and it makes me so fucking mad. But anyway, I'm gonna calm down and I'm gonna finish the story.
Good luck. Gar.
Stop.
Rar.
Stop it. So, they adopted all over the country, but mainly the big money came from interstate adoptions from New York and Los Angeles. And the agency would charge as much as $5,000 for these adoptions. And in that time period, that was about $70,000.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of fucking money. And that fee was mostly pocketed by Tann. Some of it would go to administrative money for, like, keeping the society open or whatever. But this bitch took all that money.
This bitch.
And she was traveling around in chauffeured cars, and she preferred Packards because they were just so classy.
Who doesn't love a good Packard?
This fucking shitty ass social worker was driving around in her big money car by a chauffeur. Like, I hate that woman so much.
She's not alive anymore.
I know. I don't give a fuck. I hate her dead, rotten corpse. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Hey.
This lady makes me very upset. But anyway, so there were actually a lot of famous clients that adopted from this agency. Mm-hmm. So among the Tennessee Children Home Society's clients was Joan Crawford, who adopted her twin daughters from there in 1947. There was, you wouldn't know who they were because you don't watch old movies, but they were sort of a Hollywood kind of power couple like Jay-Z and Beyonce now, but like back then. So their name is June Allison and Dick Powell, and they used the agency to adopt their child. Lana Turner adopted from there. Pearl S. Buck adopted from there. One of New York's governors adopted from her. But one of the most interesting things that I read was Shot in the Dark.
Uh-oh.
What pro wrestler was actually an abductee of Tann?
An abductee?
Like, he was abducted and sold to his parents.
Okay. I'm up for this.
Was it A, Randy Savage, B, Hulk Hogan, or C, Ric Flair?
All right. Hold on. Because I'm not a wrestling fan, but I am like a human interest and human behavior fan, and all three of these people are fucking interesting. They are. If you don't know anything about any of these people, please, for the love of God, look up some shit about them, because they might have been and are currently douchebags and weird and all that, except for Randy Savage. He passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yes, but they are fucking interesting people. So, any of them could be fucked up. But the oldest of them is Ric Flair, so that's what I'm saying.
God damn it. I was trying to find older wrestlers, and I got the oldest ones shit.
Yep, it was Ric Flair.
It was.
Again, I'm not a wrestling fan, but I am a human behavior and interest fan. And that was very fun.
I'm real mad about that, because I even went on fucking Sports Illustrated to find some goddamn wrestlers for that sort of matched up with the timeline.
No, you didn't do shit.
Now, Hulk Hogan was old enough, but Randy Savage wasn't quite, but there wasn't another one in that time period that anybody knew, or that I knew anyway.
Yeah. I
actually knew those three.
You wouldn't have gotten them. It's okay. All right, let me know when you're ready. I'm recording. 3, 2, 1, record. Yeah, chase it immediately. It'll be fun. Yeah, it's got a little bit, doesn't it? The shot's rough. Oh, that's fun.
It's better on ice.
Oh, it's much better on ice. All right, there you go.
Yeah, maybe don't shoot that.
Uh-huh. All right.
That was disgusting.
Uh-huh.
It's so good, but you should not shoot it.
I agree. It's really good, even in a shot, but still, you know.
Like, I mean, the first part of that flavor is, oh my god, this is nice. And then you're like, oh fuck, it's vodka.
There's a lot of vodka on the back end there.
Oh shit. Now I'm hot. Is it hot in here?
Yes, it's very warm. I've been sweating the whole time. I want to put a disclaimer in right here. We live in an old fucking house. We don't have central heat and air.
In the middle of Alabama, by the way.
Yeah, we have window units. It is 10 o'clock outside, and it is currently 85 degrees, and we have no air in the house because we can't, because it will pick up on the microphones. So when we record these, we struggle for y'all. Y'all remember that.
We make sacrifices.
Remember the sacrifices we make and appreciate them.
Anyway.
I love when people tell me to appreciate them. It's just the best feeling in the world.
You're such a weirdo.
Can
we talk about Ric Flair now?
Yeah. Can we please talk about Ric Flair? For the love of God.
He was just abducted as a child from his family and sold to his current family. And, yeah, that's about it.
Makes sense.
I just thought that was one of the most interesting, like...
That's incredibly interesting.
Ric Flair,
I had no idea that Ric Flair was, like, you know, adopted.
He was 100%. And they don't quite know who his birth parents were because the surname was changed so many times on the paperwork because they...
Also, wrestlers change their names, so his name is not Flair.
Well, no, but, like, I'm saying his parents have a name that's very close to Flair, but it's, you know, spelled all weird.
This is interesting. I was just looking it up just to see. Ric Flair was born in 1949, February of 1949, so... He was on the very, very tail end of her reign.
He was at the end of it.
Very, very end.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically as people sort of started getting wise to what she was doing after 26 fucking years.
Let me ask you something real quick. Let me interject. Because this says... Now, did all the children come from Memphis? They were Memphis-based children. She was stealing them from hospitals there and yards there.
Around the area.
Yeah. I was just asking because I'm looking at his Wikipedia now because I'm so fucking interested in the Ric Flair thing. It says he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, so they obviously know that. But they don't know anything else. So he came from Memphis.
Yeah, but like his parents are named as one thing in some of the paperwork and as something else in the other, and it's really not sure who he actually belonged to initially.
This is so funny. His birth name is widely perceived to be Fred Phillips.
But maybe not.
I don't know why that's just funny to me.
It's just not funny though because he was literally stolen from his family.
Oh, I know that it's not funny in that regard. I'm just...
Yeah. I get it.
Ric Flair is Fred Phillips.
But anyway, so people started to get wise to what she was doing, and the adoptive parents started to object, saying, you know, this wasn't in the right, this was what's going on, wanted more information about where their child came from, because the people were getting suspicious. But in many of those cases... Tann threatened them and basically saying they were complicit in what she was doing, and they were scared of losing the children that they had already received and were bonded with and, you know, had started raising. So really those accusations didn't go anywhere because they were scared of losing the children that they now thought of as their own. So in the mid-40s, around 46, I think, Tann was diagnosed with uterine cancer. So, good job.
Sorry to say it, but good.
And she sort of felt that the adoption thing was starting to unravel, because that Boss Crump dude that we were talking about earlier, he was starting to lose his influence in the community. And eventually a dude named Gordon Browning became the governor of the state in 1948. And when he heard about the rumors of what was going on, he saw this as a golden opportunity to absolutely humiliate his rival, who was Mr. Crump. So in the final months of Georgia's life, he decided to appoint a special investigator, and the special investigator started looking into her organization, and they were looking through it. They were getting ready. They were building a case, and she died a couple of days before this report came out.
Oh, man.
In September of 1950.
How lucky.
Yeah, what a fucking bitch.
How lucky.
I know, right? But anyway, so even after they did all of this investigation and stuff, the accusations against her had a lot more to do with her pocketing money from, like, state-funded adoptions as opposed to fucking kidnapping 5,000 children.
The atrocities.
Yeah.
She
it was
oversaw.
it was more like they were pissed that she was taking
tax dollars.
Yeah. That's what they were pissed about. Instead of exactly.
Were the people upset, or were the agencies more upset?
I don't know that this wasn't terribly widespread at the time.
I've never heard of it, honestly.
This didn't really come to, like, national attention until, like, the early 90s when someone wrote a magazine article about it. Like,
I've never heard of this.
And since then, there's been a lot of books, and there's even a couple movies about it.
There are movies?
There
Like
are.
documentaries?
No, like
they made
movies.
dramas off of this?
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Yeah. So anyway, so Georgia was 59 years old when she died at home of cancer. Fuck that hurt. Sorry. Very mad at her. Anyway, and she never had to get in trouble for all of the shitty things that she did. She would just...
Go ahead.
Sorry. And then, like, what makes me even more upset is then, like, that Boss Crump dude died shortly thereafter, and that judge lady died of a stroke only a couple years after.
So none of them ever faced consequences?
None of them ever faced any kind of consequences for the fucked up shit that they did. And it just makes me very upset. But anyway, but sort of like a weird thing came out of this, and that is that adoption sort of became destigmatized across the United States because she adopted children to so many high-profile families. So, like, she's sort of a dick, but... like I said, this weird,
She's
like...
majorly a dick.
Yeah, but, like, there's sort of a weird accidental benefit of the fact that, like, adoption was almost unheard of before she started this crazy bullshit. And then, like, it became sort of a normal thing that if you couldn't have your own children, like, this was an option. Yeah. Which it should always be an option, regardless of whether you can have your own biological children. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically what happened with Georgia Tann. And she's sort of the worst person ever.
She sounds like a C word.
She is 100% a C word. Why
can't we say that?
I don't know.
Can we just say it?
Like, Samantha Bee just lost all of her advertisers over that, and I'm not about that life.
I don't think that we're going to get in trouble for calling this woman a cunt, though.
Can you not? Mitchell. I mean, she is, but still. Maybe we should not.
Maybe we should. Maybe this is when it's necessary.
Well, I mean, I think it's necessary in a lot of places, but once again, I didn't actually know that was a curse word until I was at least a junior in high school, so I'm not sensitive to that word particularly. It doesn't bother me, but,
life.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And then you got corrupted by the booze and the penises and everything.
But did you know that, like, sealed adoptions were a Georgia Tann sort of thing? Like, she championed that and sort of made it a thing that required states to have closed adoptions, sealed adoptions, where the biological children could never go back to find out who their biological parents were. That was her big thing, because obviously she didn't want the children coming back and figuring out that they were sold.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of those laws were on the book for a very long time. But Tennessee was actually the first to lift those laws in 1999 because they fucking realized that,
They were a problem.
a lot of their children got sold off.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
That
there's
issue.
tons of just heartbreaking stories that of people reuniting years later after figuring out that they were one of these children. So a lot of people didn't know and still don't know that they were the victim of this trafficking ring because it's not as widely known as most people, as it should be, honestly.
Right.
But people have found out over the years that I was the right age, adopted from the right place at the right time, and they go back and look at the records, and 100%, they were one of those kids. Just like Ric Flair.
Unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nature boy. Woo. Oh,
So,
I can't believe Ric Flair was one of them. That's so weird.
It is weird, but that's the story of Georgia Tann, and that's the real life shitty fucking monsters that you need to be wary of.
Those are the ones to worry about, not the floating lights we've talked about.
Yeah.
Don't think they're going to hurt you.
Yeah, it's more these real life C words that you gotta worry
More of these
about.
cunts.
Please stop saying
We can
that.
just say it.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, who's going to get us in trouble?
I don't know, but people are very sensitive about that word.
I just don't get it.
I don't either, but once again, I honestly didn't grow up with that being a cuss word because I didn't even know it was a word in the first place, so there you go.
So many women that I know, and yes, I am making a statement about women, a very broad statement.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Don't like the word moist. And I don't fucking get it. Men don't care. It's just something about the women that they hate that word.
No,
I guess the same goes for cunt.
I actually know a lot of men that don't like that word either, but
I don't believe that.
I know a couple of men that I could go in front of and say that word right now, and they would be like, oh.
Ugh. I just don't get
like it because I don't like the vowel sounds, the oi, oi, oi. I don't like that.
Oi.
Yeah, I don't like those. But it's not because I think it's gross because of moist anything. It's just I don't like the way those letters sound together.
Wait, can you please say M word so we don't have to deal with this?
Sorry. But anyway, that was the story of Georgia Tann, and I'm done talking about her because she makes me really mad.
She makes me mad too.
Those poor babies.
She's upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't like Georgia Tann either.
Oh, and she's got a creepy face too. Look.
I don't want to see a picture of her.
All right.
It will humanize her. And I don't
No,
want to do
it
that.
won't. She's got crazy eyes.
Don't they all though? Don't all the
Yes.
C words have crazy eyes?
Now you're being rude.
All the real life C words.
Anyway, so are you ready
I'm
for
being
toast?
rude. Yes, please give me a toast. I'm begging for a toast to get me the fuck out of here.
All right, y'all. So if you will kindly lift your drink into the air, hoist it high. Tonight we are going to toast the Gurdon Light and not Georgia Tann.
No, Ric Flair's who we're toasting.
Ric Flair. Fucking toast to Ric Flair, sir. So here's my toast. All right. Out by the rails on a cool moonlit night, you can still see the glow of the old Gurdon Light. That damn Georgia Tann was a shitty kidnapper. Too bad she's dead, 'cause someone should slap her.
That was a
Drink.
good one. I like that one. Slap that cunt.
Delicious.
That is a damn good cocktail.
It is very excellent. I would recommend it.
It's so good. Oh, should we revisit the alcohols? Muchacho's still great. Just had a
on.
sip of it. Deep Eddy was awesome. Maybe don't shoot it. But
Don't shoot it. Seriously,
it's really
y'all,
good though. It
listen
tastes
to me.
good. It's just gonna fuck you up.
Listen to me, don't shoot that shit. Put it in a cocktail, treat yourself to, or just over ice. Treat yourself to a nice, delightful sipping
So many
beverage.
burps.
But don't shoot it, it hurts your face.
It hurts your face.
It hurts my face. I'm a little drunk. Can you outro us, love?
Yeah, sure. I am actually engaging on the Twitter account.
Hey,
So follow us
you
at
started.
S Spirits Podcast, please.
14 episodes in.
At S Spirits Podcast. I'm very engaged. I'm doing things. I'm starting a thing called What We're Drinking Wednesdays. That's on Wednesdays. I'm going to give you pictures and prequels of the alcohols that are coming up the next Sunday.
Previews.
Prequels? Why did I say prequels? Yeah. Previews. I'm giving you the Phantom Menace every Wednesday.
Please no.
And I'm going to give you just a little bit of a preview of the alcohols on Wednesdays. You can hashtag that WWDW. What We're Drinking Wednesdays.
What would
Hashtag it Gerd
Dale-
Ramsay.
Well, I don't know.
No, it is. It's What We're Drinking Wednesdays. I need some followers because since I didn't really engage at the beginning, we haven't really grown. So, anyway.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
Follow us on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Southern Spirits Podcast.
You want to talk about Instagram for a minute, about how many followers we have? Because
like 900 followers on Instagram and
do.
about 37 on Twitter.
Yeah, look who put so much into this podcast, y'all.
Yeah, Leah's done a good amount of work. I have not done much on Twitter. I just don't know how Twitter works.
It's so
Not a
confusing.
Twitterer. Twitter's hard.
Twitter is hard.
Yeah. If you have any fun things you want to send us, like postcards, we would love to get some Big Peach postcards sent to our P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama. That's HARTSELLE 35640. You have any fun stories or alcohols I should try, send us an email at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. And we had a great night tonight. Hope you enjoyed listening. We will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.